Terence Crawford's style is way too dominant for Errol Spence, or did he just wait him out? What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red. But let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So, Terence Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. The fight that left a bad taste in all of the Errol Spence fans' mouths and a big stain on Errol Spence's career. Now, there's a question out there whether Errol Spence's style isn't good enough to beat Terence Crawford, and I just wanted to give my 1,000 nickels on what everyone is talking about and break it down for anybody listening.
I mean, you win all these fights with the same guy, and your very first loss, you're looking for a blame.
Alright, y'all. So, Terence Crawford's style, is it way too dominant for Errol Spence to beat him? And why is it more dominant than Errol Spence? Also, did he just wait Errol Spence out? So, Terence Crawford's style. You know, Terence Crawford has a very interesting style of boxing.
I'm not ear, nose, or throat, but I can fix your whole body.
He's a switch hitter. He's a very talented boxer. Knows how to use the ring to his advantage. Knows when, where, and how to place shots to hurt his opponent. And a lot of people feel like his style is just way too much for fighters like Errol Spence.
Your haters is your marketing team. Stop worrying about what they doing. They out here representing the brand as you. Before they wake up, don't wake the dead.
Do I believe that? I think his style is really good. I think he has quick hands, quick feet. I think his switch hitting gives him an advantage over a lot of people. I think that his boxing ability allows him to outthink a lot of fighters.
Mind if I give it a try?
What I don't believe is that somehow that style is just way more dominant than Errol Spence. When we've watched Errol Spence not only beat his last few opponents, but damn near break them in half.
Your haters is your marketing team. They out there building the brand. They out there talking about you every day. Telling the people, yeah, this, that it about you. I ain't saying what I'm saying that you think I'm saying, but if you think I'm saying what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. Your haters is your marketing team.
The problem that I have with the Errol Spence-Terence Crawford fight is not that Terence Crawford won the fight or that his style might just be too much for Errol Spence. It's not that at all. My problem with that fight is Errol Spence did absolutely nothing in that fight. Once again, Errol Spence did absolutely nothing in that fight when you compare it to his other fights. Even just his last 3 fights. You know, the Ugas fight, I believe it was Danny Garcia fight, and it was supposed to be a Manny Pacquiao fight in there somewhere, but that didn't happen. And I believe it was Mikey Garcia before that. I might be wrong. It might be 1 or 2 off. And he completely dominated those 3 fights. There was not a point in any of those 3 fights where his opponent was winning the fight. So my problem isn't that, you know, Terence Crawford actually beat him or that Errol Spence lost the fight. My problem is he did nothing to resemble his normal self.
Hand it here. I smelt you down the block. Body ain't no good food without my hand in it.
Now, it would have been different if I saw Spence land big shots and Terence Crawford was just completely walking through them and, you know, Errol Spence just got outclassed. It wasn't that. He did absolutely nothing in that fight. Nothing at all that resembled Errol Spence Jr. So there can only be 1, maybe 2 answers to that question. Either Errol Spence hurt himself at some point before that fight and he just got so much pride and belief in his own abilities that there's no need for him to reveal it to the public because he feels like, hey, I'm going to get my get back in the rematch anyway, so I don't really care to explain to people what happened. And that's pretty much the narrative that he's been going with, is that something happened. I'm just not going to explain to people what that was because I don't have to. I'm going to beat his ass in the rematch.
Sad, man. Lots of time I'll be crying.
I think that that's pretty much his point of view. But, you know, did he wait Errol Spence out of the division is the real question. I think that that's most likely what happened. You know, kudos to Terence Crawford for winning. He won that fight. You know, I give it up to him. But that's pretty much where it ends. Because this, once again, is a strategy game. And if he used strategy, which it appears that he did, because by no stretch of the imagination should it have taken him 5 years to make one fight.
What's happening? What's the matter? You can't calm down, darling.
You know, this is the reason that people question Terence Crawford's resume. If you're wondering why so many people question his resume, it's situations like this, that your biggest fight took 5 years to come together. And nobody can sit here and say, well, it was PBC's fault, it was Errol Spence's fault, because they weren't sending contracts Bud liked. Whether he liked the contracts or not, they sent him plenty of contracts, and he turned them down until he got everything in his favor. Everything, including the fact that Errol Spence couldn't make the weight anymore, and he weight drained himself to make the weight, and he lost the fight. It is what it is. Now, in this rematch, we're not going to have this problem. There's not going to be that problem, and I think this is the reason for the quick turnaround for Errol Spence in the rematch. Why he doesn't want to wait any time. He doesn't want to waste any time. He's like, you know what, let's just get it on. I know what the problem was. I've already addressed the problem. I fixed the problem. I don't need to tell the public what the problem is, even though a lot of, you know, boxing fans and a lot of people that have been following Spence for a while kind of know what's going on. But he doesn't feel like he needs to explain to anybody what's going on. I'm just going to whoop his ever-loving ass in the rematch. And I'm going to leave it at that.
They trained for 2 years with the snack program, and according to Crawford's friend, they did that because Spence was stronger.
And I think that's pretty much what it is. You know, styles do make fights sometimes, but in this situation, Errol Spence didn't show up at all, so there has to be a reason for that. I would have given Bud all the credit in the world if I saw even a quarter of the normal Errol Spence that been in there destroying fighters. But I didn't even see a quarter of Errol Spence in that first fight. So I can't give Bud all his credit just yet. Now, if he destroys Errol Spence again in the second fight, well, then I got to bow down and kiss the feet of Show Enough.
Yeah, that's right. Bow, sucker. Bow down to your master. Yeah, coolie. Kiss my Converse.
Because he proved exactly what everybody on his side has been saying all this time. He's just a better fighter.
I believe that Joe Louis would beat you, probably without point of it a better part of the fight. No. But toward the end of that fight, he would catch up to you as he catches up to everyone else. And take you out of there.
Slow Joe Louis whooped me?
Joe Louis said this once: a man could run, but he can't hide.
He may be able to hit hard, but it means nothing if he can't find nothing to hit.
Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, fun man, share. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. But you're more than likely to get a response on the tube, so holler at me over there. If you want to collabo, feature a product or your channel on my channel, feel free to hit my Gmail, because it is a flock of cards at gmail.com.
Illuminati want your mind, soul, and your body. You want a red bone hottie and a Maserati. Is that a fur trade? I was in 3rd grade writing down mean. Now I'm as clean as your maid. Get these bitches wet, they some mermaids. Take a survey, they all prefer K. EYZ, still in the money. I'm a Louisville legend and I'm still in my 20s. Super cool, wind chill in the 20s, but I still pack heat. I can make it feel sunny. so you can rock a white beater when I'm mobbing through. But be safe and bring your coat and your toboggan too. I'm outta here. I'm on my mind. 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 Where you from, nigga? I would clown your ass, but you can't get smart with a dumb nigga. Dumb nigga, I would shank your ass, but you can't knife fight with a gun, nigga. If Louis Keys did it, it's a damn banger. Tape on the 38 like a jam banger. To this rap shit, I ain't no damn stranger. They wanna throw me off the boat, but I'm the damn anchor. And my team ride clean, looking like tomato juice in my limousine. My eyeballs bloodshot to red, all eyes on Louis Keys, no pocket red. I'm outta here, I'm on my mind. I'm outta here, I'm on my mind. I'm outta here, I'm on my mind. I'm outta here. I got voices in my head, voices in my head. They say, Keys, get that money, get that paper, get that bread. Don't be worrying about the cop, don't be worrying about the feds. Don't be worrying about your wifey and the shit that she done said. That's 3 voices, 1 grind, dime 3. How the hell one nigga gonna outshine